I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
We thought we were ready to lose them until they were gone. The summer in Seoul felt colder than usual. Not because of the piercing wind or the cloudy skies, but because two names that once shone brightly in the K-pop industry were now gone, just like that. Not because of a scandal, not because of a conflict, but because of the silence. And somehow, it was the silence that sounded the loudest. Kim Taehyung and Jungkook, the two figures who once united the purple seas in magnificent stadiums, now turned into shadows whose whereabouts could not be ascertained. They made no official announcement, no farewell letters, no reasons. They just disappeared, and the world was silently afraid. Taehyung, who should have returned to the stage with the sparkle of solo projects and luxurious contracts after completing his military service, instead chose a lonely path. No comeback, no fan meetings, no agendas. He rejected it all. Politely, calmly, and without hesitation. Someone close to him once whispered, he chose emptiness over glitter. That may sound strange, until you understand the true meaning of freedom for a man who has lived in the spotlight for so long. In a leaked private interview with ARMY, Taehyung once said, "Freedom isn't always about flying. Sometimes it means walking away when the world is asking you to stay." Meanwhile, Jungkook was no less mysterious. Without any announcement, without any explanation, he began to disappear from Korean news and reappear in Los Angeles. Word of his rented apartment in Beverly Hills began to spread through word of mouth, whispered by Uber drivers and coffee shop baristas. People in the music industry in America said that he was working on something in secret. A new album? Maybe. A new style? Maybe. But one thing was for sure. He was looking for a different form of freedom. Jungkook didn't run away, but he didn't come back either. And that's what made everyone uneasy. HYBE finally could only give one flat sentence that felt more like confusion than clarification. Every artist has the right to make personal decisions about their career. Sounds neutral, but amid the silence that hangs, the sentence is like a riddle that hides more questions than answers. Why now? Why at the same time? Is this the beginning of an unannounced breakup? Korean entertainment is starting to use terms that were previously considered taboo when it comes to BTS. Cracks, burnouts, breakups. And amid the speculation, one theory is slowly gaining ground with fans. This isn't a breakdown. This is a hidden resistance. Taehyung and Jungkook have always been different. They're not the type of idols to follow a script. They're poetic, mysterious, and human. They always convey more with silence than with words. So maybe, this time, their silence is another form of their most honest voice. From behind glass windows of the HYBE building, gossip begins to circulate. Emergency meetings, failed branding strategies, leaked and then deleted internal memos, an operation called Continuum designed to revive BTS's glory days after the military, now in ruins, because its two stars decided not to return. And maybe because they ultimately chose themselves. Investors panic. Stocks fall. Fans read every post, looking for clues in every gap, guessing what's on their minds from every blank stare captured on camera. But Taehyung still didn't show up. Only one blurry photo was of him, standing alone in Bukshin Hanok village at dawn, his hair longer, his eyes lowered as if he were waiting for someone who never showed up. Jungkook left a faint trail. 2. His new studio in LA was said to be soundproof. Some heard his voice singing alone, accompanied by the tinkling of a piano, a sound that sounded like a wound that hadn't had time to heal. An Uber driver swore he heard someone behind the window say, "I don't belong to anyone anymore. Not even the dream I almost had." There was no proof. But in BTS's world, emotions always feel more real than facts. And when the rumor reached Weverse, it didn't take long for ARMY to recognize the voice. They knew. They always knew. Then a common thread emerged: Taehyung. The fanbase that was once only mentioned in whispers is now the quietest place filled with hope. Fans believe. Maybe it wasn't a coincidence. Maybe they made a secret promise. Theories say they met for the last time on Jeju Island. That Taehyung once said, "We don't need to be seen to be real." And Jungkook replied, "Then let's disappear, but never disappear from each other." Is that true? No one knows. But in the BTS universe, what is felt is far more important than what is confirmed. And so they went. No farewell concert. No tearful speeches. Just gone. Like a poem that was never finished. But that's exactly why they were never forgotten. Taehyung and Jungkook weren't really gone. They were just moving on. From a world that consumed them to one that let them breathe. In the meantime, but the world couldn't wait in silence for long. Because when two of the biggest stars chose to step away, the gravity of the industry began to shift. It's not just the fans who are anxious, but also the industry players who have depended their lives on one name, BTS. Namjoon, Yoongi, Jimin, Hoseok, Jin. The faces that once stood side by side with Taehyung and Jungkook now look increasingly silent. They are still present, still giving news. But none of them mention the two names directly, as if guarding something too fragile to touch, too personal to talk about. One insider said that the members are now facing a more complicated time than anything they have ever experienced. This is not an official goodbye, but it feels like losing someone who is still alive. And HYBE? Now walking on glass. Every step they take is wrong. Every decision they make feels too late. The grand strategy that was once believed to be the rise of a new era for BTS has now turned into an unsolvable puzzle. Because how can you plan for the future if the foundation of your heart is gone? Global brands that have prepared millions of dollars for collaboration projects are now starting to hesitate. Taehyung's empty calendar is a scary sign. Jungkook's absence from Korean activity symbolizes that even a dream as big as BTS's is not immune to the fatigue of being human. Meanwhile, the rumors are getting wilder. One of the most attention-grabbing came from the agency environment, stating that Jungkook had turned down a big solo album offer because "I want to sing for myself first." A simple sentence, but enough to make the entertainment world understand. This is not about a career. This is about an identity that is almost lost because it belongs to too many people. And the public is starting to realize. Perhaps this is the price of being too big, until you no longer know who you are without the cheers of the audience. In that silence, a small movement emerged from ARMY. #LetThemBreathe. This hashtag emerged not as a protest, but as a form of the most sincere love. Love that does not demand. Love that only wants to see two souls alive, even if not on stage, even if not under the light of the camera. Fans began to write letters, not to ask them to come back, but to say, "If you are happy there, we also learn to accept." But behind all of this, there's one question that continues to haunt us. Will Taehyung and Jungkook ever come back? The answer may never be announced at a press conference. There may never be a goodbye song. There may never be a grand comeback announcement like we've always imagined. Because if you truly love Taehyung and Jungkook, you know, they're not the type to express their feelings through loud words. They're the voices of the heart. They're the slow movements that change everything without a single announcement. And if they choose to remain missing, then the world must learn to lose in a beautiful way, by not forgetting, by continuing to sing their songs, even when they choose to remain silent, by believing that behind the silence, there are still two voices beating, not for the world, but for themselves. Because maybe this is the end of an era, but not the end of love. Maybe this isn't about Taehyung and Jungkook leaving the stage, but about them finally coming home. Coming home to a place the camera can't see. Coming home to their own hearts. And we, as ARMY, can only hope. If one day they come back, let it be because they really want to, not because we call their name too loudly.